Okay, so hello and good afternoon. My name is Tom Kobaugh, and I will be your I am your presenter for this project. This project is week 2, assignment 1, My Community in Words and Pictures. So without further ado, I'm just going to jump right into it. My community I'm going to highlight is the one I am currently living in. I've been in for the past 8.5 years now. It is the city of Altoona, Pennsylvania. Now, the city of Altoona is, you can barely call it a city. It has a population of 45,000 people, and it has been around since about 1942, whenever it was bought off of a small farmer and just grew from there. Now, again, like I said, there are about 45,000 individuals in the city of Altoona, and the majority of them are Caucasian. You'll see by the bar graph, we have a 93% Caucasian. The African American population sits at about 4%. We have a less than 1% of Asian families, and the other are your different ethnicities, Middle Eastern, Hispanic, things of that nature. Now, the ethnicity is about the same. We are 94% of white non-Latino background, and there's about 6% with Latino background. Now, the age distribution. The age distribution was surprising when I was looking this up. There is about 6% of the population under 5 years of age. Under 18, we're sitting at about 25%. The ages 18 through 65, we have the majority of the population. That's more than half. It's about 50 to 60%. And a small population are retiring here. A lot of folk grew up around here during the railroad times, which we'll get into later, and they just didn't want to leave. And honestly, I can't blame them after living here for a little bit. Now, the sex in this area, we are about 50-50, male to female, which is another thing that was surprising to me. And all of these were brought up by 2 different census websites that I found. So moving on, the quality of life. Again, this was something that I was pretty surprised about. About 90% of the individuals who come here have the equivalence of a high school diploma or higher, and about 17% of the individuals in the same age range have a bachelor's degree. I thought it was a little higher with the higher education. However, this isn't taking into consideration the different trades in the area, or the associate's degrees, or the master's degrees. This is just at least a bachelor's. So maybe that's those are things to be taken into consideration. Now, as of 2017, according to Crime Watchers, in the city of Altoona, you had 1 in 52 individuals were victims of property crime. I will say we were part of that, me and my family. Our car was broken into about 5 years ago. However, that was one time out of the many years that I've lived here, and it's kind of foolish on my part. I left my car unlocked overnight. Now, there's a 1 in 277 chance of becoming a victim of violent crime. We have been fortunate enough to avoid that kind of crime. So far, so good. Let's knock on wood. Alright, so the major employers of Altoona, Sheetz, and look, shots fired here. I'm going to say it to my Eastern Pennsylvanian colleague or co-students and those that are living up and down the East Coast. I've been up and down the East Coast in my travels, in my time of service, and I'm going to say it, Sheetz is better than Wawa. Sheetz is a convenience store, gas station, has a little bit of everything. And they're kind of branching out. They're as far down to North Carolina now. We also have the James E. Van Zandt VA Medical Center, my current proud place of employment. I'm very happy to be there. We also have UPMC Altoona. They hire a lot of folk for anything from medical needs, scheduling needs, behavioral health needs, things like that. We also have Boyer Candy. If you've never heard of Boyer's, if you ever had a Mallow Cup, that's that's our claim to fame here in Altoona. And Norfolk Southern's Juniata Locomotive Shop employs a good amount of individuals still working in the Altoona area. In education, we have, I'm not going to mention the Altoona Area High School and the 7 different elementary schools that we have in the city, but we have 4 different places of higher education. We just opened up a Penn Highlands Blair, and that's located where our mall is currently it's kind of being transferred over to that. The South Hills Altoona, that is where folks can get at least an associate's, some can get their bachelor's there. Penn State Altoona, that's where I got my bachelor's in criminal justice. And the trade school locally is the Greater Altoona Career and Technology Center. I have many friends that went there for their trade degrees, and we do have a good education program here. Groups, there are a multitude of groups. I could go on all day. I can get a whole other video of them. But the 3 that I will mention is the Knights of Columbus. We have a chapter here in Altoona. There are some Shriners around here. The picture in the middle there is the Jaffa Mosque. And like everywhere else, we are hit with the epidemic of opioids in the area. So we have Operation Our Town, which is your essential push out the pushers program. Operation Our Town has the goal of wanting to rid the area of heroin and other dangerous chemicals. The attractions. I'd be a fool not to mention these of Altoona. First, we have Lakemont Park, which up until about 2 years ago had the oldest operable wooden roller coaster on Earth. So I wanted to mention that. There's also People's Natural Gas. That's the home of the Altoona Curve, which you can see the baseball field in the middle there. And the Horseshoe Curve, which coincidentally it was targeted, or it was an idea of it was targeted during World War II because it's a major train hub that pushed needs to and from efforts for the war in World War II. Now there's a map of the community. The middle picture there, I was trying to figure out how to take a picture of it on my laptop here and take a screenshot, and by God, I could not figure it out. So I just kind of emailed it to myself, so forgive that. And the other 2 are different pictures of views from Altoona here. But we go right off Interstate 99 and have very easy access to different interstates. We're not far from State College, not too far from Pittsburgh. And a decent haul to Philly. It's about 5 hours to get there. Now, is this a good community? The first thing I want to mention before I run out of time, and I saw in our reading from the Ohio State University, is they were mentioning about how there was a cemetery cleanup. And just yesterday, Saturday, July 14th, there was one St. Mary's cleanup. St. Mary's is a cemetery where I actually go to every Veterans and Memorials Day. They had a cleanup there. They were asking for volunteers to come around and help cut the grass. We also have the Central PA Humane Society. And we also have a small replica of the Wall That Heals, which is a Vietnam memorial wall here in Altoona in front of the VA Medical Center that I mentioned before. So I would have to say, yes, this is a good community to live in. It's a little populated for my taste, I won't lie. I'm not a big city person. I'm not a city person by any means. But I would have to say it is a good community. There are my references. Thank you for your time. And this picture here is from my front stoop. You have a great day.